Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. And the inspiration for the title of this week's episode is I don't know if it's still famous, but there's a TED Talk by Simon Sinek. And I think he also turned it into a book called Start With Why. And it certainly became at the time a very popular sort of a methodology for growing a business that suggested that businesses that had withstood the test of time and really thrived over time always started and were built around a very strong why, a very strong purpose. Now, I have no particular pro or anti stance towards that, but what I've actually seen working with individuals is that the things that people create in their world, the things that people do that really work remarkably well, like better than expected, they don't so much start with why, like, oh, I'm doing this because, or I'm doing this in order to. They start with wow. They start with a gasp, a grin, or a giggle. They start with an idea that even just thinking about it makes the person thinking about it go, wow. And there's a kind of an inspiration. And inspiration, the root of inspiration, it's breath, it's spirit, it's life, it's aliveness. It starts with an aliveness. And because it starts with an aliveness, it tends to take on a life of its own beyond even what we bring to it. So there's a program we do every year beginning in January called Creating the Impossible. I've been doing it since 2009. It's a best-selling book of that name, Creating the Impossible. And every year I challenge people to create something that makes them go, wow, in 90 days. That isn't really possible or likely. In fact, one of the rules of thumb is you should have less than a 20% chance of pulling it off in 90 days, and ideally less than a 5% chance. But it's just so big a wow that you're up for going for it anyways. And it is remarkable how often people create things that make them go wow. And sometimes they make everybody else go wow. So just in this year's program, which has just recently come to a close as I record this, one of the projects was a beautician who wanted to recreate, having no dance experience or background and being, let's say, a little bit older than the actress in the original film, to recreate the What a Feeling song from Flashdance. And if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube. It's fantastic. There was somebody else whose project was to bring Bruce Springsteen to Wakefield in the north of England for a concert. Sometimes it's simpler. It's more personal. There's somebody whose project was just to find a home on a beach, which seemed impossible given their finances and everything else that was going on in the world. And there's something when we start with wow that transcends the possible. It transcends hard work. It transcends what we can achieve by just applying ourselves and working hard. When you start with wow, you're not dependent on will. You're not dependent on convincing yourself to stay in the game, because the dream itself, the project itself, is just kind of like, wow, that would be amazing. It kind of makes you gasp or grin or giggle or just brings a tear to your eye when you think about it. As I say, I've been doing this for many years. This year, our project was around something that is called Digital Michael, where we've been working on and off for over, at this point, 8 months, developing a sort of a digital twin. And my original idea, my original vision was, boy, wouldn't it be great if I could coach everybody? Now, I don't mean everybody needs me, but just, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could coach millions of people one-on-one? Because I can't. Like, I have relatively limited time in my life. And yet I not only love working with people, but I love seeing people come alive. I love seeing the impact of my work. And I've tried to replicate what I do. I've trained coaches, and many of them are absolutely brilliant in what they do. But I just kind of had this, wow, what if I could really reach and coach over 1 million people? And the way that we came up to do that was, well, what if we could create a sort of an AI twin of me who would do it? And just as we came towards the end of the program, we launched out into the world. And in the first 4 days, we were up over 500 users. We were up in 11 languages and 18 countries. And I have no idea where it will go. But it started with wow. It didn't start with a why, like, well, my purpose in doing this is to help the planet. It's all very, for me at least, very intellectual, very heady. When you take on a project that starts with wow, it's just wow. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe we're even considering this, let alone considering that it might happen. And it's so easy to talk ourselves out of because we don't know how we're going to do it. In fact, we know we can't do it by ourselves. But when you start with wow, you don't so much need to know how. Because, and this is almost silly for me to say, but like, wow is how. Like, I don't know, but I'm so into this, I'm just going to try stuff. And then I'm going to try more stuff. And I'm going to absolutely rely on the kinds of coincidences and synchronicities that inevitably show up when we fully engage in creating something in the world. And so the invitation to you is, what would you love to create in the days and weeks and months ahead? What would you love to get out of your head and into the world? Not for a very good reason, that would be the why, but because the thought of it makes you go, wow. And I want to encourage you to just begin. There's a wonderful line in a book called The Rich Man's Secret by Ken Roberts. And it says, take the first step, no more, no less, and the next will be revealed. And I found that to be very true in my life and work, and very true in the lives and work of the people I work with. If you'd like to check out Digital Michael, please go to michaelneill.ai. And unless we're overloaded at the moment you go there, we're giving out free trials. And you can have a conversation with Digital Michael and just see for yourself if it makes you go, wow. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.